Welcome back to another edition of This Week in Laker Football with head coach Ron Bellamy. I'm Dave Scott. Good to be with you, and a really happy week for the Lakers, Coach.
Happy week. We won the OAA Red, which was one of our goals. We beat a team historically that's given us some problems, a very physical team in Oxford, and our defense played lights out, and we had a number of players step up and got in the end zone on Friday night.
All right, well, we're going to talk about the great performance Friday night. We're going to talk about your opponent Friday night, Warren De La Salle. We're going to talk to Gavin Hardeman, one of your defensive standouts on the team. All that coming up on This Week in Laker Football, made possible by the fine people at Henry Ford Hospital, West Bloomfield. We thank them for their participation all season long on radio and on TV. So, Coach, you pretty happy about where you're at right now?
Yeah, as a coach, man, you're a stickler about certain things. There's some areas you still want to clean up weekly. I know I sound like a broken record, keep talking about that, but you want to have a perfect game, if that is such a thing. No penalties, no pre-snap penalties. That is, just take care of the football and executing on all three phases of the game. We're getting there. We're not there yet, but the goal for us is to peak during the playoffs.
Let's talk about your offense for a minute. Last week on this show, CJ, we asked him, "You feeling comfortable back there in the pocket?" And he said, "I think I am." What are your thoughts about where your quarterback CJ Harris is right now?
He's playing at a high level right now. This is CJ Harris we anticipating having this year. Very talented kid, great leader. Understands, defensively what they're trying to do against our offense, and he puts us in great place. He makes great decisions, and the kids on offense, the offensive line, the backs, and the receivers, they want to play at a high level, just like CJ, and that's why we're clicking at this point.
It seemed like from the press box that those really short passes, those precision passes that are all about timing, seems like you've been using them more lately as the season goes on, and they've been working. Is that on target?
Yeah, we look at our short passing game as an extension of our run game. If you want to load the box up, then we'll throw 5-6 yard passes, and we love our athletes. They'll make one miss, they'll turn a 5-6 yard gain into a 10-15 yard gain. And you saw that a couple of times with Chase Glover. You saw that with Jay Fouché on his touchdown catch. And you saw that, throughout the season with Ethan Bunch. So, and obviously Donovan Edwards. But, we started the game out. We know teams are starting to play for that, and we started the game out by going deep with Dylan Tatum, on his long post route.
You like stretching out the field like that?
Absolutely. If you look up the guys, they are track stars. Some of the guys are all state in track. So, I feel like we could beat you either way. We could throw it deep, or we could beat you with the intermediate game.
Yeah, I was down at the Lions game over the weekend, and they have that 40-yard dash set up in front, and I'm thinking, man, I don't think I could run that 40 very quick.
You should try. You should try.
I will. I'll try it, and I'll let you know next week. How are your guys doing? You say they got speed. Are you happy with where they're at from a speed standpoint?
Oh, absolutely. It's speed and space. We're the real speed and space. So that's what we like to do. Get our boys the ball in space and make some guys miss and see what they can do after the catch.
I look back at where we were last season offensively. You had a lot of injuries. Mm-hmm. You were introducing a lot of players to cover for those injuries. Donovan wasn't there, and others. Mm-hmm. You made it work. This year, you seem to have more weapons, and they all seem to be healthy.
Yeah, right now, knock on wood, right now the boys, they've been working hard, taking care of their bodies, icing after practice, getting stretched, doing the things that's necessary for you to have a long, productive season. So, we were bit by the injury bug last year, but our philosophy doesn't change. It's next man up, and that's how we prepare each and every day.
Also from the press box, it seems like you have one play or something new, a new wrinkle every week, and you want to run that until they can stop it.
Well, when you're playing, when you get into league play and everyone has your film, you start exchanging films. We have some great coaches that have been coaching 20-plus years. And what they do is they take away what you do well. So you have to have some wrinkles in your game to show you the same look but do something different than what they're thinking. I think we've been able to attack teams that way, kind of keep them honest.
Taking a look at the defensive side of the ball, I mentioned this to you after the game. Coach, 11 quarters, 11 consecutive quarters, you've given up no points at all. Mm-hmm. Tyler likes to call it, I call it a donut. He calls it a roundabout, kind of his West Bloomfield angle. But, wow, 11 quarters.
Yeah, Coach Grice, our defensive coordinator, does a phenomenal job, creating the game plan, and our defensive assistants do an excellent job executing with the guys. And most importantly, it's the kids between the white lines. They go out there and they play with passion, they play with pride, and they play for one another. And collectively, when you could do those things, you're going to have great success.
So up front, your guys have really played well defensively. I had a chance during the last game to watch your defensive ends play a little more closely.
Yeah.
Got a wicked set of ends on this team.
Yeah, Chris, whether it's Chris Johnson, Sterling Miles, or you have Big Mike, or you have Devin Isaac, any of those guys, any of the combination of guys, they go in there and it doesn't matter. I say next man up. The goal is to set the edge, make plays, and be disruptive, and those guys have been.
And talk about your secondary a little bit. You got a lot of speed there as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got some smart guys. I'm starting with the safeties with Makari and Gavin. Those two guys are two of the smartest safety combinations that we've had. And what's so tough about it is, week in and week out, we see different offenses, and we're not a defense where we're going to line up the same way each week. Every week comes a new game plan, and we may have to alter what we're doing in the middle of the football game, and you got to have guys back there with high IQs. They are our football coaches. Our two safeties, they're our football coaches on the field. They bring in the plays. They change the plays. They set the plays. So, we count on those guys a lot. In addition to that, they got to go out there and make plays. So, our two safeties, we feel like we got the best, tandem of safeties in the state. And, we love our two corners. With three corners, Byron McCormick's playing at a high level. He's doing some great things. And, Max Harrison just got inserted into the starting lineup. And he's a man coverage guy that does great things. And then, we have the veteran Chandler Swoop, who's a bigger corner that helps us against the bigger receivers.
You're developing players, so we continue to see new guys that we didn't see in week 1 or 2 coming in late in the season.
We're talented. We're a talented group, and it's one of the things I think we're kind of the reason why our program is where it is now is development. It doesn't matter what grade you're in. It doesn't matter how long you've been playing varsity football. If the opportunity presents itself, take advantage of it, and those kids have been.
And again, one of the benefits of the last 2 games has been that we've been able to see, the second string and beyond, and they all played pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal. We had that gauntlet we went through early on, starting with Oak Park and finishing through with Rochester Adams, and you had a couple favorable games. Teams haven't had much success in Bloomfield and Oxford, so that gave our team, obviously we prepared like we were playing the Detroit Lions, but we're able to jump on those guys quickly and give our kids, our backups, an opportunity to play. They deserve it. They go out there each and every day. They're getting better as well, and they showed that Friday night. I look at the encouraging thing as a coach is you look at some of the younger sophomores and juniors we have on there. They could be starting for a lot of teams,
right? And
we're pleased with that. So it gets super competitive. So we're proud of them.
All right, Coach. Coach Ron Bellamy this week in Laker football. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. It's Warren De La Salle Friday night. We'll talk about that matchup down at Wayne State University when we return. You're watching This Week in Laker Football on Civic Center TV and listening on the radio on Lakes FM and online at lakesfm.com. We'll be right back.
You want it, you got it. Civic Center TV has been bringing you live coverage of your local municipal meetings for years. Now you can catch a replay of those meetings the following day at 1 o'clock and again on Saturdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. If that's not enough, you can also visit civiccentertv.com/meetings to view a whole list of on-demand Township Board meetings and keep up to date on the most recent developments in your local government. Giving you more, it's Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Welcome back to This Week in Laker Football with head coach Ron Bellamy. And Coach, you're rewarded with a big game Friday night. Warren De La Salle, one of the legendary programs out of the Catholic League down at Wayne State University. Talk a little bit about Friday night's big matchup.
No, we're excited about it. The last couple of weeks we've had some impressive victories, but they were against a couple teams that have struggled this year. Now we get the 2-time state champs in Division II, the De La Salle Pilots, and what a matchup for us. It'd be a great challenge for us heading to the playoffs. They do a phenomenal job over there, getting their guys going. Physical group, well coached. It's going to be a big challenge that we'll be ready for.
So I assume you've watched some film on them. What did you find?
Yeah, I've watched some film on them. They've put things in perspective. They've given up 82 points all season long, and 41 of them were week 1 against Muskegon.
Right.
So
Muskegon, #1 team in the state, right? You got it.
So they've given up 41 points in 7 games this year. We have our work cut out for us offensively. It's one of those games where our defense got to get them off the field to give our offense extra possessions, and we got to take care of the football. And when we do punt, or if we do punt, we got to pin them back, make them play on a long field, and it's a game of who controls the field position and who controls the time of possession.
Special teams, you mentioned it. We haven't talked about it yet today. It's been working out pretty well for you in special teams. What are your thoughts about special teams leading into Friday night?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. This is a time of year where, every team is good. Your kickers, you won't be able to just do it with your offense and defense. The special teams is going to have to step up. Samuel Lafada's done a great job punting. He got a couple 50-plus yard punts this year, which has been great for us, pinning guys back. And Jake Ward, he's kicked 11, 12 field goals this year, so he's been automatic for us, and he's a weapon. A lot of teams don't have that type of weapon, so we definitely take advantage of it and use it, and we're definitely going to need him come playoff time.
Yeah, Jake Ward is money, and what's also really cool is you don't seem afraid to use him in a high-pressure situation at all.
Not at all. Not at all. We have a ton of confidence in him, and he's probably one of the more, outside of Nick O'Shea, he's probably the most confident kicker I've had. When it's 3rd and 7, I just feel a little body right next to me, and he's always like, hey, if we don't convert this 3rd down, I'm ready for you.
Coach, I haven't had a chance to check. Have we played Warren De La Salle in the history of this program?
I haven't checked either. That'd be good to check.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
It's pretty neat for us. I know my first time was last year playing a Catholic league and having Orchard Lake St. Mary's and week 9, and then coming in week 11, second round of the playoffs, having Detroit Catholic Central, and this year having Warren De La Salle. So, it's pretty neat for us. It's neat for our kids to go against some of the historic programs in the state of Michigan, and it's exciting. We're looking for a huge turnout. I know our crowd, our fans will be there. And what's neat is our kids get to play at Wayne State. They get to play on a college campus, a college football field. So we'll be amped up for it.
Well, it's going to be a great game. Warren De La Salle and West Bloomfield Friday. Make sure you make it down to the game. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more with Coach Bellamy. This week in Laker football with Coach Ron Bellamy continues on Civic Center TV and here on Lakes FM and lakesfm.com.
This hour of programming is brought to you in part by Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. 10 years ago, Henry Ford Health System celebrated the grand opening of its West Bloomfield Hospital. Since then, they've celebrated innovative new technologies, medical breakthroughs, and unique approaches to health and healing. To learn more about Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, visit henryford.com/West Bloomfield 10. Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital is a proud sponsor of Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Welcome back to This Week in Laker Football with head coach Ron Bellamy. I'm Dave Scott. Joining us now, Gavin Hardeman, standout of the Laker defense. Gavin, good to have you with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, pull that microphone right up to us and tell people a little bit about your football history. When did you first start getting excited about football? And just tell us what you did before you were playing varsity football for the Lakers.
Well, I was playing baseball first when I was like 8 till I was in like 6th grade. And then I started to like stuff that was more physical, so I was watching football, studying it a little more. And then my brother convinced my parents to let me play for the Michigan Warriors football team. So I quit baseball, played football for 6th grade, 7th, 8th grade, then played at high school here.
You're not the only one that's had to make that decision. I think back to guys from my era like Kirk Gibson, really good at both sports. So football's working out really well for you. Are you enjoying playing football for the Lakers?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
All right. So, Gavin, the football program is on fire right now, especially your defense. As I talked to Coach Bellamy a couple of moments ago, no one scored on you guys in 11 quarters. So how's that feel? You guys talk about that, and how's that feel to be so successful?
We really don't feel like too highly about it because we kind of mute the praise and we feel like that's what we're supposed to do is shut teams out. And when we don't shut teams, even if we win, if we don't play a good defensive game, we feel like we got more to focus on the bad than the good.
Well, for the most part, it's been the defense has really been on target all season long and held us in some games earlier in the season. And you guys have been dependable. I mean, if people look at the Lakers, great offensive team, but the defense, I'm sure most of your opposition are thinking, hey, what are we going to do to score points on defense? You work in the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a little bit about this season And anything special that your unit in the secondary has been working on, or any thoughts you have?
I think we've just been working on our technique all year and just being able to become more effective in the game as the game goes on. Like, we start off with a few tackles one game, and then we work on some when we were involved in the run game a lot more, and then we adjust and we get ourselves involved in the pass game and just be able to stop offenses in every cylinder of the game.
You know, you defensive backs, you're kind of the rock stars of the defense because, you know, if you're in a one-on-one situation, you might be the only player keeping somebody. Now, you're going to get some help, I know, a lot of plays, but you may be the only player preventing a touchdown. Do you like situations like that?
Yes, I think the pressure kind of makes me feel better. Well, not better, but like make me feel like I have to do this because if I don't, we could lose or like people be disappointed. I'll be disappointed in myself.
Talk about some of the leaders on the team defensively and the impact they've had on you and your football and scholastic career.
I think some of our senior leaders is like Makari Page, Cornell Wheeler, Byron McCormick, and like Sterling Miles. They all in the secondary linebacker and the D-line crew, and they just lead like all us younger guys. It's a lot of juniors that started on this offense too. And a sophomore, Dylan Tatum, that plays a lot in the pass game. And like I think the senior leaders just help us a lot knowing what to do and like bringing us energy on the field.
Well, and, you know, you got some guys that are going on some big-time programs and, you know, I mean, just playing around them and being a part of that whole special aspect of what's going on here in West Bloomfield. It's got to be great. I mean, this is a pretty solid program we have here right now.
Mm-hmm.
So before we say so long, talk about Friday night. Is it going to be exciting? Any different playing down at Wayne State than playing in one of the high schools here in southeastern Michigan?
Yeah, because my brother go to school at Wayne State, and I'm trying to show off for my family and all that. So I'm going in. Like, I've been watching film on De La Salle. They look more physical than most teams, and I like physical teams, so I'm coming in with a different mindset.
Any concern? You played two teams. I'm not going to say that they were substandard teams, but they're teams that have been struggling all year. Now you're going up against legendary Warren De La Salle. Do you guys have any thoughts about that? You talked to your teammates about that at all on Friday night?
No, I think we just bring the same energy every game and just be able to come out here. We hate our opponent until the game is over, and in between the white lines, we treat it like it's war. So we just go in with the same mindset every game.
All right, final question. What do you enjoy doing when you're not, you know, moving some weights or getting ready for football or playing a football game? What other things you like to do in your free time?
I like to hang out with my friends and just chill, because our bodies be sore from football, so we just chill, play video games and all that.
Takes a couple days to recover after a football game?
Yeah.
And I know you guys hit the weight room on Saturday morning too, pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
Is that your hardest day of the week in the weight room?
No, probably Monday, actually, because we lift longer and it's like separated, so we get more weights in.
All right, Gavin. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good to talk to you. Thanks for being with us on the program.
Good to be here.
All right, there he is, Gavin Hardeman, joining us here this week in Laker football. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with head coach Ron Bellamy and talk more about the big contest on Friday night coming up in a moment. I'm Dave Scott, and you're watching This Week in Laker Football on Civic Center TV and right here listening on 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com.
Laker football is live every Friday this fall on Civic Center TV, WBTV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. Tune in before every game kicks off at 7 p.m. for live analysis from Dave Scott and Tyler Kieft, and then another great Laker football matchup. You can listen on Civic Center TV, WBTV, and of course on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM and on the web on lakesfm.com.
This week in Laker football with head coach Ron Bellamy. All right, Coach, Friday night, it's going to be a big game. Is it hard at this point in the season to keep everyone's head squared right on their shoulders with this big game at Wayne State and the big games to come?
No, you know, our kids have taken an approach one game at a time. This is a senior group, great senior leadership. We want to allow the kids to move. We don't know. We just know we're in the playoffs, but right now, De La Salle. The kids, you know, it's great for us because you're playing a team that's won the last 2 state championships in their division, and they're one of the premier teams in the state of Michigan. So our kids aren't looking at the possibilities of playing others. It's just De La Salle. That's all that matters, and going 1-0 against those guys.
Yeah, and there's a lot on the line. A lot for De La Salle. They got to win, really, to secure playoff
win and get
position,
in for them,
right?
and for us, you know, we're in, but we just want to host. We want to host as many playoff games as possible, and for us, we do well when we play in the swamp, and that's our goal. But none of that matters if we don't take care of business on Friday night.
All right, Coach. Well, I know you're going to. We'll look forward to seeing you down at Wayne State and doing this again next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, Head Coach Ron Bellamy, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for watching. Make sure you tune in on Friday night for the game. More importantly, come join us at Wayne State University. It's going to be a lot of fun. Laker football, this amazing season continues. Thanks, Coach, and thank you for watching This Week in Laker Football with Head Coach Ron Bellamy. I'm Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning in on Civic Center TV and right here on lakesfm.com. Thank you.